The New South Wales Legal Assistance Forum has been in operation continuously since 2005. Agencies like the Aboriginal Legal Services, Legal Aid, the Law Society, community legal centres all come together to meet with government quarterly to discuss justice priorities and find ways to work through problems together. Working groups are formed to look into particular areas like fines and traffic law and rural, regional and remote legal services.
I have a really long history with NLAF. I was actually at the launch of NLAF in 2005. It was a really exciting launch because it was a recognition of the key players in our sector coming together to collaborate. It's something that we had talked about a lot, and it was coming to fruition.
The thing that I really liked most about it was that there was groups of people around in the forum. So there was people from Aboriginal Legal Services, there was us, there was Legal Aid, and there were government representatives. So it actually felt like we could have a conversation about law reform with people who are actually going to be able to make the difference and make the change.
I actually did go on to work for NLAF in 2007 for I think maybe 2 years as the project manager. The difference that I've seen in the past few years being back on as a member of the executive of NLAF, I think there's a real desire to shift. We want to leverage our collective experience and power a little bit more for the issues that are still the burning issues in our sector. I feel like we're really starting to move a little bit more into that advocacy and really trying to feel out what is our power as a collective to work together.
NLAF is committed to standing in solidarity with our First Nations communities and First Nations community-controlled organisations to progress justice.
Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people are more likely to get better services and get better results if they work with an Aboriginal community-controlled organisation. So in that respect, the National Agreement really significantly changes the landscape of the legal assistance sector, which means that the sector needs to be paying more attention to what Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people prefer, the better outcomes they're going to receive, and how that sector needs to be strengthened so that it can support those people.
Our work is committed to improving the experience of people experiencing disadvantage who interact with the justice system.
NLAF as a forum can bring together community legal centres with other legal assistance providers and with government. Community legal centres cover a lot of territory. We have a lot of depth and a lot of breadth. We can pull all of that expertise together, and I think that's what we offer NLAF. And NLAF offer for us a place for that expertise to actually make a difference.
Our 2 ongoing forums bring to the fore the justice needs to people in prison and people with fines debts.
Well, the Fines Forum has been, I think, the longest standing group of NLAF, which just goes to show that fines issues, they're always something new, there's something novel, there's something we can work on. The fines system in New South Wales can really have disproportionate impacts on people who are disadvantaged, particularly kids and young people, particularly people in Aboriginal communities, remote Aboriginal communities. And I think if I had to say what's been the real value of the forum over the last decade, it has been a period of quite intense reform in this space. And so as a group, we've been able to contribute to those reforms. We've been able to share the experience of our clients with government and other parts of government, not just in the justice sector, but more broadly, and as I said, like in Revenue New South Wales.
The Prisoners Forum's been going for a good 10 years, I think, and I'm fortunate enough to be currently convening that forum. It has a broad remit and it is a rich area with a lot of subject matter expertise. So one of the examples of that was we held a live beam into a correctional centre about 12 months ago. And that was very significant in that it started determining the kind of priorities of what we wanted to look at. Interestingly, we found about 90% of the conversation was around access to healthcare in prisons. And so that led to a real pivot in terms of the focus of the Prisoners Forum. I think that's really great. So we're now being kind of determined by what people on the inside are experiencing and what they need to see in terms of transformation. And out of that has grown a sub-working group on access to healthcare in prisons.
NLAF has undergone a period of reflection and renewal to remain relevant to the justice needs of people in New South Wales in the next decade.
Over the last few years, the things that I'm seeing that are changing are we're bringing more intention, I think, to how we use and leverage the different functions of NLAF. So this is how we pull together all the different insights, the expertise, the relationships, the power of the institutions that are part of this group. So thinking about how we set strategy, how we set a plan to achieve that strategy, how we use the different functions of NLAF, and how we leverage those relationships to have the most impact.
I think NLAF contributes to the justice sector overall because it is a forum where all of these groups come together, and they don't come together like that anywhere else.
It really enables us to contribute as an ecosystem. So whether we're from government, whether we're NGOs, we're all bringing our perspectives.
I think we're drawing more evidence together. We're researching some of these gritty, complex, challenging problems that we need to solve together. We can't solve them alone. And I think looking forward into the future, we're trying to build a better system to address inequality.
Even though we've been around for nearly 20 years, I think there's still new places to go in terms of how we work together.
Find out more at nlaf.org.au.